Vaevictis, the first ever all-female roster to enter the LCL, will likely depart the LCL as the team is now set to change the roster for, of course, the upcoming summer split. Now, if you guys have watched this past weekend, their spring split did come to a conclusive end. Unfortunately enough, a pretty poor ending at 0-14, setting a few records throughout the split as well that are not necessarily good records to hold. First of which, it was going to be in Week 1 against Vegas Squadron. They give up a record number of deaths, that being 52. Week 3 rematch versus Vegas Squadron ends just as poorly in the fastest match ever in LCL history. Now, what we can take away from this is hopefully some things going forward for the organization to learn from, as well as the roster as well, getting great experience inside the LCL, and certainly setting that record to be the first ever female roster in the LCL is an accomplishment set for the ages, and hopefully going to be improved upon for the future of both the organization and these players likely to leave the roster. Now, why I say likely to leave as well, because Vaevictis have now posted recruitment posts for new players for the upcoming summer split. So an unfortunate end, I would say, to a controversial topic. We have talked back and forth about both sides of the argument here. First of which, never going to blame these players because I think they are now the victims of this. You know, any player out there, given the opportunity they would certainly have snatched it up and taken it, and as opposed to the organization maybe making the questionable choice to actually field a roster who is arguably, not even probably arguably, who is definitely not suited for this level of competitiveness. And to add insult to injury, as if it could not get any worse somehow, you have the one case which makes this worse. There's not anything else I could really think or script up that could be worse than this. It was actually before the last week of play for this team. Unfortunately enough, they had to bench one of their players, that being Triggered, otherwise known as Diana, because of all things out there, she was trash talking and apparently leaving threatening remarks on live stream. It was recorded and everything. It was live and heard, of course, by Riot themselves. She was dished out disciplinary action because she was trash talking and threatening a former member of Vaevictis, that being Ancot, otherwise known as Natalia, and that is just one thing you really hate to see, especially because they have become known for being an all-female roster and receiving hate from the majority of the community out there for various reasons. The last thing you need is one of your own players being caught recorded live trash talking another female player, former player of the organization, and that is how they ended. They actually benched Triggered for the last 2 matches. It did not matter. They lost those 2 matches and end the LCL split, that being the spring split, 0-14. So an unfortunate end to that, and again, not much to really argue here. It does leave a lot of suspicions for the future of the organization together and what roster they're going to field, especially for the summer split, and if they can really improve on this. I think a lot of us hopefully think they will. And I know there's already been way too much talk about this. We've already talked about it way too much as well. I'm not sure what we expected from the start of this project, right? You throw together 4 to 5 random players who have previously not really played too much together at all, them being, of course, Diamond, anywhere from Diamond 5 to Diamond 1 in Russian servers as well. When you compare that to NA servers as well as EU servers, certainly not going to be of the rank or caliber of those teams, let alone in the LCL, still a very, very low rank to be playing at that competitive level. This is probably what you should expect. Unfortunately enough, if there would have been any competitiveness in these games, I do apologize for saying this if I do offend anyone, but the level of gameplay here, there was no competitiveness. I could argue that none of these 14 games were anywhere near close. We have seen winless teams across many leagues, a handful wise across leagues in League of Legends at this level, but none that were this far separated from their opponents. So unfortunately enough, there will be changes for Vaevictis, and they will go down in history with whatever note you guys want to take away from this. I will give the players credit because yes, any player given this opportunity would have taken that opportunity, and despite their records and despite their losses throughout this split, certainly an achievement has been made for female players, although it might not be the one you want noted in history. So we'll see improvements hopefully for Vaevictis. If you guys want to leave your thoughts and comments down below, I do read every comment. Certainly a very interesting project to talk about for the future and oncoming projects as well that kind of revolve around this kind of formality. We're going to see what happens in the future of the LCL as well as Vaevictis, and until next time, I hope you guys all enjoy. My name is Jake. I will link some material down below. Actually, a Twitch streamer known as Lillian, she had a great video on this about a month ago on the topic itself. I think she gave a great perspective from her standpoint on what she thought of the project at the start as well and what we really expected to happen. As always, I hope you guys all enjoy. Until next time, take care.